everybody, Jen here, and I am here with another homework video for our upcoming Create With Us. Super excited. This summer release, it was really hard to choose which theme I was going to design the Create With Us class around. There were so many fun themes in the summer release, but I went with the lemonade theme, and I love how these cards turned out. So this is for Create With Us, Make Lemonade. I can't wait to join you guys live on July 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can join me and Kelly Marie live right here on the lawnfawn YouTube channel. Head on over to the live tab and you'll see that we already have it scheduled, and you can choose to be notified as a little reminder. So I love doing these homework videos for you guys. I am filming this in real time. I am not going to edit down any of the video, and that way we can all work together and have some more crafty time together. If you have any questions about the prep for this class, feel free to reach out to me directly to creative-chick@chircus.com. Lawnfawn's happy to answer any questions, of course, but since I'm the one that designed this class, I'm also happy to answer any questions you may have. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Again, these are the adorable cards that we are going to be creating, and we're going to have fun with a little bit of a shaker, some scene building, got to do all the splattering. We're going to play with some distress oxides actually this time, which I sometimes don't give enough love to my distress oxides. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to take out the Make Lemonade stamp set, and we're going to go ahead and start by stamping the images that we need. So I'm going to grab some Nina 80-pound cardstock. This is the Lawnfawn white cardstock. And I'm going to use my stamping platform. Just moving. If you guys could see, I hope your crafty areas are a bit messy while you're prepping for class. Let me know in the chat if they are, and help me feel a little bit better about my space, because off camera, it's a little messy. It's a little messy. All right, so we're going to take out all of the mice. We are going to use all of these little guys. And I can't get over how cute the ones with the little ball cap are. I mean, come on. Again, mice, Lawnfawn mice living their best life ever. We're also going to do the sugar bag. I'm going to grab the pitcher. We're going to grab both of the signs, so 25 cents a glass and fresh squeezed. And then I'm just looking, we are going to grab both of the glasses. So we've got the glass with the straw and the glass with the lemon garnish. And we're going to grab both of those individual little lemons. And we're going to grab the crate. So we're basically grabbing everything right now except for the lemonade stand and the cupcake. I actually had stamped and colored the cupcake, but it just, I don't know, I had a lot going on. So I was like, yeah, I'll let one thing go. A lot going on, I let one thing go, right? So I'm going to stamp my images with my Lawnfawn Jet Black ink pad. I am going to be coloring with Copic markers during our class, but I also shared with you guys on that downloadable handout a Copic Olo comparison chart, but you also could use colored pencils. If you want to watercolor your images, you could do that as well. Just make sure you're stamping on watercolor friendly cardstock. I recommend the Distress watercolor cardstock. But yeah, so I'm using the Lawnfawn Jet Black ink. And if you've been around, you guys know my Lawnfawn Jet Black needs to be re-inked. But I don't know, I like the way it's working, and I'm just gonna stamp it multiple times, because why not? Utilize that stamping platform that we've got, right? I'm going to do one more time. All right. Now, some of these images we do need two of. So before I clean my stamps or take them out, I'm going to grab another piece of that 80-pound Nina cardstock, the lawnfawn white cardstock. And I'm going to figure out which images we need two of. So I know we need the mouse that is facing the right. We need two of him. And that actually might be it. I was trying to be good. Yeah, I think that's it. The other thing we do need, and I apologize before, we're going to actually stamp the lemonade stand. We just need the top part on white cardstock, and then we're going to stamp it again on some wood grain cardstock. So I'm just going to stamp the whole thing. But now I'm going to go ahead and just clean up these stamps before I put them back. I actually remembered to wet my Lawn Fawn stamp chamois. So this just has a little bit of water on it. It's damp, and it wipes all of that ink off to put your stamps away. And I'm just going to get these stamps back in place. So the theme of our cards, or the color palette of our cards, is yellow and pink. And I was kind of thinking, you know, like yellow lemonade, yellow lemonade, you know, like lemonade, and then pink lemonade was kind of my thought process for the color palette. And I just love how they came out. All right, so let's go ahead. We're stamping this little guy that's facing right one more time, and we are stamping our lemonade stand. You really only need the top part of the lemonade stand, but I'm just going for it. Just going for it. We'll go ahead and get these stamped. We'll do one more time. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and set those guys aside. And then next what I'm going to do is I am going to grab some of the Lawn Fawn wood grain patterned paper. So they have it in two different browns, a light brown and a dark brown. I think it's armoire and coffee table. And the light brown is what I'm going to use, which is coffee table. And it comes in 12 by 12 sheets. I always just cut it down to be 6 by 6 to put with my paper scraps. And I think there are 12 or 10 sheets per pack, or 12 sheets per pack. It's not a ton, but I think this is a great paper to have on hand. And one side has a small wood grain pattern and the other side is a large wood grain pattern. And I want to stamp on the small wood grain pattern. So I'm actually just going to take this and cut with my scissors, really rough, right in half. And I'm just going to put that in here. And then we're going to stamp our lemonade stand again. I thought about this a lot, probably too much. Did I want my wood grain to go up and down or side to side? I think technically, if it was real life, the wood grain would be going side to side. But for it to show up, I liked it up and down. But again, you guys can do whatever you would like to do with your cards, right? So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this, and we're just going to stamp it with that Lawn Fawn Jet Black. Any black ink pad will do. We're not going to do any coloring to this. We're going to kind of let that pattern paper do its job. But I'm just going to use my Lawn Fawn Jet Black since I still have it out here. I'm off camera today. Usually I like to show my face while we're crafting together, but we have a little bit of a heat wave going on here and our AC is not working. So it's a little toasty roasty and I just didn't feel like being on camera today. So I hope you guys all understand. I do like to be on camera because I think it makes it feel more like we are together, but it's like, well, I gotta get this video done, so we're just gonna do it without front-facing camera today. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this back. And I think that's all we need our stamping platform for, especially right now. So I'm just gonna put that back in its drawer. And I'm gonna go ahead and just cut around this. I keep scraps like this because I'll utilize this for something, and I'll put it in my scrap system. Okay, so now what we're going to do is die cut all of the things. So let me put my stamp back in the stamp pocket and we'll get our dies out. So for the lemonade stand, this white one right here, we do not need to die cut it out. We're gonna actually color the lemonade sign and fussy cut it out and add it to our wood grain one. So I'm just gonna roughly cut that out and set it aside so it's ready for our kit. But this wood grain one, we do wanna cut out with the dies. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my dies in place. And believe it or not, I don't have a whole lot of Best Ever Craft tape on all my die cut machines right now. So I'm going to get some new pieces. This is Spellbinder's Best Ever Craft tape. This is a low tack tape. And I like to use it to do a lot of things, but to hold my dies in place. So I'm going to peel some off. And then I like to touch it to my skin. So the oils on my skin are just taking one more little layer of tack off. And again, we're just going to use this tape to hold our dies in place as we go through to die cut all the things. So I'm going to add dies to as many images as I can, which will be all of these, because we only have this little guy over here that's a double. And then we will run these through our die cut machine. So even though our AC is not working right now, it's not horrible. We luckily have a little bit of a coastal breeze. For those of you guys that don't know, I live on Cape Cod in Massachusetts. So we have a little bit of a coastal breeze. We got a lot of trees in our yard. So there's air movement. We'll survive. We'll survive until it gets fixed. I'm one of those crazy people. I much rather be hot than cold, so I am not complaining. You won't hear me complain. But in the winter, you definitely will. We have had a kind of a cold and rainy spring, very raw. It's very typical for the Cape to stay pretty raw in the spring. Kind of all the weather gets trapped. Cape Cod is pretty far out in the ocean, so all that weather gets trapped and it just takes us a long time to warm up. And I grew up in New Hampshire and we had really nice springs up there as a kid. We just don't have a great spring here on the Cape. Wonderful summers, beautiful falls, more mild of a winter. But anyway, so a lot of our weekends has been really yucky weather and I've had lots of things going on. But this past weekend, I had nothing going on, the first time in forever. And we had beautiful weather all weekend. So Chris and I spent a lot of time at the beach. I was mermaiding, floating in the water a ton, just relaxing, just unplugging. It was so nice. So nice. Back to reality today. So you'll have to also let me know in the comments, did you guys ever do a lemonade stand as a kid? I'm trying to remember. I don't think I lived in a very rural area and we had a lot of acreage. So, like, you couldn't even see our nearest neighbor. And we were kind of on a hill. So, people would drive by our house pretty fast. But I do remember I made and tried to sell, but let's be real, just our neighbors and my grandmother came to buy them. But these little wooden rainbows I used to make. I really wish my grandmother had saved one, which she probably did, but when my dad cleaned out her stuff, he probably didn't think to save it. But it was these little wooden rainbows. It was a wood bobbin that the end of the bobbin would break off, and we would use it to heat our house because we had wood stoves. And where did this die go? Hold, please. I'm going to pause the video. I'm having a hard time finding this die, so give me 1 minute. Okay, I found it. All is well. But anyways, so I used to take these half-shaped pieces of wood, half a circle, right? And they look like rainbows, and I would take my crayons and make them into rainbows and then sell them for who knows. But yeah, I don't think I had a lemonade stand, but I had a wooden rainbow business. All right, so off camera, I'm gonna just run this through my die cut machine. I'm using the Spellbinders Platinum 6, and then we'll come and cut the other sign and our other mouse, okay? But yeah, you guys will have to let me know in the chat if you ever had a lemonade stand. I feel like living in a rural area, I didn't have like a lot of kids around me, and again, we didn't have a lot of people, so I didn't do a lot of those typical neighborhood things that people would do. So all right, so all these little pieces of best ever craft tape, as I take them off my dies like this, you just gently peel them off. They don't damage your paper. They don't leave any residue. I am sticking these pieces to my die cut machine, and I reuse them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until they've almost like disintegrated. And so that's what I love about this best ever craft tape is you get so many uses out of one piece, and it doesn't harm my paper at all. All right, this little guy that's facing the right, we know we have a second one of him to die cut. So as I take the die off of one piece, I immediately line it up to the next one. Kind of just saves you a little time. My gosh, this is so cute, all these little images. As always, lawnfawn did such a great job. Love it. But yeah, it was really hard to decide which theme I was going to go with. The Highland cows, oh my gosh, they are adorable, right? And the sentiments on that set are so hilarious. And then we have all kinds of new bumblebee stuff, which I'm a sucker for that. I love it. I love bumblebees. So again, it was a hard decision, but I kind of had the most ideas with this lemonade stand set first. And I figure I'll go with this. So those of you guys that follow me know that on release day, I also typically release an online lawnfawn class. It's a paid class, but it's very affordable. They're $20 to $22. And but in the summer, for the summer release, I do not release a class. I really do try to slow down a little bit in the summer and mermaid a bit more. And we have a trade show, lawnfawn. Kelly Marie and I will be going to an in-person trade show for retailers. So I'm also busy prepping for that as well. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. So anyway, so I don't do a summer release class, but that does not mean you won't see any of these awesome products in upcoming classes with me. It just isn't right away. So let me know what you would love to see in a class from me, which theme of the summer release. And I would love to hear that as well. So I'm asking you all the questions, all the things for you guys to share with me in the comments. So I hope that comment section for this homework video is hopping, or you can send me an email as well. But okay, so all of our bits are now, all of our stamped bits are now die cut, right? We've got this white lemonade stand that doesn't need to be die cut. We have our wood grain one, and then we have all our little images. I'm going to just pile them off to the side. We'll break things up into card kits in a little bit. But now we have some other die cutting to do. So let me just put my dies away. And the first thing, well, what I wanted to explain is a lot of everything that you see us ink blending on, I'm using Distress White Heavy Stock. That is my favorite white cardstock to do my ink blending on, and lawnfawn does carry it. And then we are also going to do a little bit of wet techniques with our Distress Oxide ink pads. And for that, I'm going to be using Distress Watercolor cardstock, which also lawnfawn carries in their online shop. So let's start off I have some Distress White Heavy Stock. And again, it's a really nice, smooth white, bright white, and it's 130 pounds. It's a really nice heavy weight, and it ink blends beautifully. So I'm going to actually, this is a half a sheet. So this is 5.5 by 8.5 right now. So I'm going to actually cut this into two. So we'll have two A2 panels that are 4.25 by 5.5, and these are going to be our backgrounds. So I'm going to set those aside, and then I'm going to grab some more Distress White Heavy Stock. This is a little piece I have left here. Let me grab some more. All right, I have another piece here, 8.5 by 11. So I'm just going to cut it down into 4 panels. So I'm going to cut them down to be 4.25 by 5.5, just to make them more manageable to work with. We are going to be die cutting a lot of our elements from our Build a Drink pitcher dies from this Distress White Heavy Stock. All right, so I'm going to grab those dies right here. And the first thing that we can go ahead and die cut is the frame of the Build a Pitcher, okay? And we're also going to die cut the filler. That's what I'm going to call this die here. It's kind of what's going to fill our pitcher. So that's going to be cut out of Distress White Heavy Stock. And then I'm going to grab the ice cubes. That can be cut from this Distress White Heavy Stock. And I think that that's it. So again, I'm going to grab some of those pieces of Best Ever Craft Tape to hold these dies in place. Excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and just run these through my die cut machine. We're going to do another set of ice cubes. I wanted 3 ice cubes in my pitcher, so I am going to run those ice cubes through one more time. And at the same time, we can go ahead and choose how high we want our drink in the pitcher. So let me just explain what we're doing here. All right, so we've got our 2 ice cubes, and we're going to go ahead and die cut those ice cubes one more time. So I'm going to just place that die again with a little bit of tape and get that ready. Now, out of our frame, excuse me, out of our frame of the pitcher, the inside of the frame, I am going to just throw this away. I am not going to use that. And I'm just going to use my pickup pokey tool to take this out. All right, we've got our frame. Okay, 2 ice cubes and a frame. And then this is our filler of what's going to go behind here, and it's how much lemonade do you want in your pitcher. And once you've decided that, this die right here, you're going to be able to kind of put it wherever you would like. You know, you can even go far down and then just use your scissors to finish it off. I'm going to go right up here, just like so. And again, I'm going to add a piece of Best Ever craft tape to hold that in place. So I'm going to run both of these, the filler and one more set of ice cubes, through my die cut machine. All right. So there's our filler. And again, if it didn't cut all the way because you put it in a different spot, I think that's fine. I just use my scissors and just clean up that edge. So that's my filler, my yummy lemonade. And then I only want 3 ice cubes. So I am just going to toss one of these ice cubes away so I don't get confused. And we've got our frame, right? So that is where we're at right now. So I'm just going to set those guys aside. Now with our filler die, so not the frame, not the one with the handle, but with our filler, we want to cut 2 of these out of acetate. So I have a A2 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of acetate here, and I'm going to cut 2 of these out of it. Lawnfawn has some really great acetate. It's actually heat resistant, so if you wanted to emboss on it, you could. But we're going to cut 2 of these out of this panel. This is going to help us build our shaker card. And that little bit of crackle and pop is nothing bad. You're not ruining your machine. Different dies, different, paper surfaces that you die cut will sometimes make that noise. All right, so we've got 1 piece of acetate here. You can see it's the filler. And we're going to just go ahead and die cut ourselves another one. Again, you're probably going to hear that crackle and pop again. Nothing wrong with that. And now we have our second one. Sometimes if for some reason the die doesn't cut all the way, I just take my scissors and guide right along. It's just like a little piece that is hung up and you can see the guide from the die. But there we go. There is our second one. And now we're going to work with our watercolor cardstock. So I'm going to be using, oh, I'm sorry. One more thing we need to die cut out of the white heavy stock. Yeah. In our lemon border, so we're going to use this really cute lemon border die right here. We want to use this piece here, the rind, I guess is that what you would call it, right? The rind that's going to layer on these. So we want to cut this twice so that we'll have 4 of them. So I'm just using some more of this Distress White Heavy Stock for that white part. So I'm going to die cut this twice since we have 2 per die. And you don't have to worry about the little triangles. It's just the frame that we need. Again, using your pick up pokey tool really helps get these things out of here. So I've got 2 frames there, and I'm going to go ahead and die cut 2 more. I could have used my smaller die cut machine for a lot of this, but I think because off camera my desk is so messy right now, this just seemed easier for me. My larger die cut machine is always set up on my desk to the right of me, and that just seemed more manageable. All right, so we've got 4 white frames that I just cut out of Distress White Heavy Stock. Honestly, it could be any white cardstock. I was just using that Distress White Heavy Stock because it was right there and I had plenty of room. So you don't need these little triangles on the inside. They can get punched out. We only need the frames, okay? And my die had a ton of triangles left in it, so it doesn't think it wants to cut those triangles, but it did. Okay, so we're going to set those guys aside. Okay, so now we are to the Distress watercolor cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and get an A2 panel of that. Again, this is now Distress watercolor cardstock. It has a smooth side and it has a textured side. Let's see if I can get that to show up. Do you guys see that texture there? Either side works fine, and especially for this where we're not going to be stamping on it, if you wanted to add a little texture right away to your die cut pieces, you most certainly could use the textured side. I'm going to use this smooth side just because that's the mood I'm in, okay? So the first die that we'll go ahead and cut is this whole long piece from our lemon border. And this is going to go on a horizontal card. However, we are going to have it be a little bit smaller than 5.5. It's going to end up being 5.25. But what I'm saying is this is 5.5. I just want to make sure it's nice and straight so that I'm getting as much of the lemons as I can on that 5.5 side. Okay. But cutting a few off on the ends is going to be totally fine because we're going to cut them off even more. All right. Now this layer here for the solid part of the lemons, we are going to want to cut ourselves 5 of these, 5 lemons. So we're going to cut this 3 times. So I'm going to go ahead and just add that on here. And then back to our build a picture. I wanted to have one of these larger lemons that's part of this die. So I'm going to get the solid backer, the front textured piece. I'm going to add those on there. And then we're also going to put a lemon wedge. So I'm grabbing the front and back of the lemon wedge. And all of this is on watercolor cardstock, distress watercolor cardstock. And don't forget, there is that downloadable handout that I did for you that outlines everything that we're die cutting, the papers that we're using, all of that jazz, all in one, okay? So we've got everything there. I'm going to go ahead and die cut this. All right, so we've got our border right here. I don't know why I'm looking at it upside down. So we don't need to cut that border again. We just needed one of those. But like I said, we are going to want 5 of these solid lemons. So we've got 2, and they lay on top, and they just add some really nice dimension. So there's 2, so we're going to do another set. Will give us 4, and then we'll do one more set to get to 5. We're only doing one of these big lemons from the pitcher. I remember I had originally cut a bunch of them, but I was going a little crazy with the lemons. So I was like, yeah, we don't need all these. So we've got our backer and our front. And then we have our lemon wedge. We've got our backer. And we've got our front now. So the front technically has the rind and then our little pulpy pieces. So what I'm actually going to do, because the rind we're going to keep white, but we want our pulpy pieces and easily able to add color to them later. So I'm going to take a piece of this Best Ever craft tape, just enough to fit those 4 little wedges. I'm still going to touch my hand to it. And I'm going to take each of these wedge pieces and stick it to the tape so I don't lose them, essentially. Okay? Just curl that tape over, and you can kind of stick it to your table. But and I'm going to make sure my wedge pieces are on the tape upright, so the top is on the top. So as I take them out of the rind, I'm just putting them on here. And they don't have to be in any special position or anything. I'm just putting them on tape. You'll see later, but it's going to make it easier for us to add some color to them. So essentially this piece here we could have done out of white heavy stock, but why not just cut it all together? So I'm going to actually just kind of put it up there. Okay. All right. So back to these guys, we're going to die cut 2 more sets of these to get ourselves 3 more solid lemons. Even though we are going to cut some of them off, just like having whole ones to see what we need. All right, so we just needed 5 of those. So this 6th one I can save for another project or toss it aside. Whatever works for you in the mood that you are in today. All right. So I think, let's see here, the other thing that we need to do, I'm just going to set those aside, is we just need a piece of Distress White Heavy Stock that we're going to ink blend and cut our letters out of. And I'm going to be using, is this Henry's? Yes, Henry's ABCs. And they're approximately, let's see here, they are approximately an inch-ish high. So we really only need our piece to be like, let's say, an inch and a quarter. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go an inch and a half just to be safe. So this is an inch and a half by 4 1/4. This is plenty of room to do ZEST with the Henry's ABCs. I also think it's plenty of room if you're going to do Stitched Oliver's ABCs or Quinn's or whatever ABCs you would like to do. Just make sure you have enough. And we're going to die cut those during class because we're going to actually ink blend first and die cut later. And now I'm just looking at my cards to make sure we didn't forget anything. And I don't think so. We did the 2 pieces of acetate. And yeah, so the other thing we are going to use in our shaker is lawnfawn has these new tiny treasures. So they have some cute little lemon clay bits. And they are so, so cute. And then I'm also going to use some of these iridescent sequins. So shop your stash. If you have something different you want to use in your shaker, feel free to make sure you have those ready to go. All right, so let's go ahead and break these up into the 2 card kits. I like to put them into their bags, and then we'll put our stamped images on Best Ever Craft tape so that we will be ready to color them together during class. All right, so for card kit number 1, I'm going to take one of the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 pieces of Distress White Heavy Stock, and I'm just going to take the wood grain lemonade stand and put that in a bag. So I like to just put them in clear bags, clear card bags. They fit a card. How I store my cards when I'm done with them to protect them before I send them to somebody. So that's all we're going to put in there. Now for the second bag, what we can go ahead and put in there is our other piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 Distress White Heavy Stock. I'm going to put in there this piece that we cut. I believe we did 1 1/4 or 1 1/2 by 4 1/4. All of our white rind frames, I'm not quite sure what to call them, but all of them. So we've got the 4 circles and we've got the 1 half wedge. We're going to put those in there because we're not going to really do anything to those. We can put our 2 acetate pieces in there and our filler, right, our drink, and we can put our frame in there, okay? And I'm going to put that into its own clear bag. All right. Oh, let's actually put our ice cubes in there too. So I've got my 3 ice cubes. We'll put those in there as well. Okay. And then just for me to kind of stay organized, what we have left, we are going to be doing some wet techniques with. So we have our whole lemon border. We have our 5 solid lemons that fit with that lemon border. I'm going to put those into a bag. We've got our large lemon from the Build a Picture. So the front and back of that, I'm going to put that in here. Got the back of our lemon wedge. I'm going to put that in here. And then the taped little pulpy pieces, I'm literally just going to go ahead and put that tape in here, just like that. And we're not going to lose it, okay? And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take all of our stamped images, and because some of them are super tiny and it's a little hard to hold on to those small pieces when we're coloring, now that they've been die cut, I like to use some Best Ever craft tape. So I'm just kind of taking a piece off, always touching it to my skin first. And then we're going to go ahead and put our stamped images on here. And this will give us a little bit more real estate to hold on to as we are coloring together. So while we're coloring this mouse, we can be holding the others, right? You do not need to put your images in the same order as me, although I think when we get to working together, having them in a similar order will make things a little bit easier for you. So you're not like trying to figure out what I'm working on. So I put the two mice that were alike together down here. We'll put the crate down low. And then let's go ahead and put our two little lemons on top here. And our picture. And then down low we can add the glasses. We've got our sugar bag. And we've got our two signs. Just like that. And I'll grab one more clear bag. And I like to just kind of put all of these, I just kind of fold the tape in half. We'll grab our lemonade stand, and I'm just going to put these into a clear bag as well. And again, I'll reuse these clear bags for lots of different things, but mainly I use them to keep my cards nice and protected until I send them out to friends and family. All right. So we've got for one card, two card, and then we've got some watercolor bits and some alcohol marker color bits, or however you're going to color your images. All right, you guys, I cannot wait to make these cards with you. I think they are so fun. They definitely get me in the summer mood if I wasn't there already. So we will be live on the lawnfawn YouTube channel on July 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you can catch us live, we would love to have you be there, even if you just want to show up for some crafty chat and you're not ready to create yet, that's no problem. And if you can't catch us live, the replay will be available on the lawnfawn YouTube channel. And not to mention, we have well over 30 other free Create With Us mini classes where you can still access all the videos, all the downloadable handouts, all of the inspiration. And I really hope you guys are enjoying these. So I won't be launching a new class on my website for this release, but I got some really fun stuff planned for the fall. So stay tuned for more information on that. And remember, you can find me over at shirkus.com, and you can always email me at creative-chick@shirkus.com if you have any questions. I can't wait to create with you all. I hope you all have a fabulous day, and we'll chat soon. Bye.